Thomas. Thomas.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a crazy video that is going viral all over the internets, featuring a graduation announcer butchering all the names at the ceremony for Thomas Jefferson University. Now, this was really crazy because the names that she was butchering were pretty common, like Thomas, Sally, Taylor, Jennifer, basic names you're going to see all the time in the USA. She was butchering. Now, I know I have butchered quite a few names in my day, and it's usually because I've not seen it before. You might have a foreign name that I can't really pronounce, a different language, a bunch of X's and Z's and Q's and P's and vowels and consonants that don't really match. I'm going to have a hard time, and I might butcher it, and I apologize for it. But Thomas, how are you going to butcher Thomas when we're talking about Thomas Jefferson University? Can you not read at all? Are you totally illiterate? What's going on? Now, imagine you're graduating and this happens to you. Your name is Jessica and that gets butchered. You're mortified. Your parents are mortified. Now, before I go any further into the reason they gave, because there is a reason, they explained this, they apologized. Before I get into the reason and a few more things, let's look at some of these names that were butchered. We're going to be able to read the names and hear them pronounced very poorly. And of course, I will link to everything in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Victoria Lee Zubith Bruce.
Victoria Elizabeth Bruce. That's what the name says, but that's not what was read.
Jessica Lynn Bauer.
Jessica, the name Jessica Lynn Bauer. Very easy. Again, regular, common, everyday names you're going to see 1,000 times. I know a ton of Jessicas. I got them in my family. This is not a difficult name to pronounce, to read. What's going on?
Alisuna Cole Bishop.
Allison Nicole Bishop. Again, very easy names.
Allison Care Campbell.
Allison Carol Campbell. I mean, basic, regular. I mean, you're going to see a ton of those. Back in the day, you had the phone book. How many Allison Campbells would there be? A lot.
Thomas.
Thomas Michael Kennevari Jr. Easy names. Thomas Michael. I mean, his name might as well be John Smith. How hard is that to pronounce? It's not hard at all. But you know what? It's like a Key and Peele skit a little bit. It reminds me of this.
You done messed up, Aaron. Now take your ass on down to Oshag Hennessy's office right now and tell him exactly what you did.
Who?
Oshag Hennessy.
Principal O'Shaughnessy?
Get out of my goddamn...
Now, O'Shaughnessy might be a little bit more difficult to pronounce, but Aaron, you're pronouncing both of the A's in the Aaron. It's like we've become a real life Key and Peele skit. That's kind of what's going on here. But there is an explanation. There is a reason why this happened. It's not just the lady couldn't read. Well, maybe it's partly so, but there's an explanation, and we're going to get to that right now. And of course, I will link to this in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Meanwhile, another university is apologizing for confusion during a commencement ceremony yesterday.
Yeah, you've probably already seen these clips.
It's all over the place.
All over, of the announcer seemingly mispronouncing the name of several students. Listen.
Thomas.
Thomas Jefferson University getting a lot of attention for moments like these during yesterday's nursing student graduation ceremony. Many of the students whose names were mispronounced, as you see, appear to be confused or even upset as they walk across the stage. In a statement today, the school apologized to the students as well as their families and loved ones, saying in part, quote, "The mispronunciations occurred due to the way phonetic spellings were presented on the speaker's card, which was noted when the presenter apologized during the ceremony."
Let's pause right here. So phonetic spellings. Basically, a regular name is spelled differently, so it's easy to pronounce, or at least it should be. It'd be a bunch of more vowels in it. So like, for example, my name, Anthony. Now, they may not put the Y in it. They may, how could you spell Anthony phonetically? AHN or AN dash THON and thun and then dash EE, something like that. So you could just read that and be able to pronounce the name easily. But it's supposed to make you be able to pronounce the name better. But obviously the lady had a worse time being able to accomplish the goal.
End quote.
But I wonder why they didn't have the name how it's normally spelled along with the pronunciation.
Just like sometimes we have, and it helps a lot to see both.
Right.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, you'll have the name on the card, Anthony, and then below it, it'll have the different spelling to be able to pronounce it better. This looks like it just made a bunch of errors because some of the names, look, I butcher a lot of names. A lot of names I've not seen before, a lot of foreign names, different languages. Like, okay, if you're living in Eastern Europe, Poland somewhere, for example, you live in Ukraine and your name got a bunch of X's and Z's, or actually the Polish names are the craziest. Mike Krzyzewski. Now, have you ever seen Mike Krzyzewski? Have you ever seen that name spelled? There's no S's in the name. There's no S's, but it says Krzyzewski. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. Mike, that name, well, there is an S in the name. I'm sorry, at the end. Mike, the name starts with a K, but it's pronounced Krzyzewski. How would you know that? Unless you had it pronounced, unless you had it written out phonetically. All right. You wouldn't know that. But a name like Mike, you wouldn't really need that to be spelled out phonetically. It's Mike. It's simple. Mike, Michael, we're not talking about a difficult name, but the last name is all the pieces. So some of these names I understand you would need that and you might butcher it. I've done that quite a bit, but regular names, it shouldn't be that difficult. And even if they are spelled out phonetically as I close, you should be able to read that phonetically and, kind of just piece it together. Thomas, how hard is that? Jessica, I think that this was just a fail overall. There was no rehearsal. It just kind of put her out there, have never done this before, and you got a whole big mess. And you saw they apologized, and it was just a mistake. So I hope the next time as I close, they put the regular name the way it's spelled, and then beneath it put the phonetic pronunciation. And have somebody that can understand how to do that. Do a little bit of rehearsal beforehand so you're not walking on stage after your 4 years, 6 years, whatever it is, whether you undergrad, postgrad, and then have your name get totally butchered when it's as simple as Thomas, the same as the school you're attending. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's going on here with the names being totally butchered? Was it a mistake of the school not having the regular names above or below the phonetic spelling? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, every day we get more and more into the Key and Peele world. Every day we get more and more into just skit territory that is masquerading as regular life. At this point, I can't tell the difference between a prank or reality. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.